What's going on, Clippers fans? Jonathan Timm here, back with another preseason video. I'm your play-by-play broadcaster for this upcoming season yet again. And yet again in the booth upstairs, you'll hear a familiar voice. Since 2014, he's been the public address announcer for the Muskegon Clippers. And I mean, why tune into the Clippers broadcast network to hear me when you can show up to a game and hear the voice of the one and only Timm Lipan? And Timm, how are you doing today in this cold March weather and looking forward to summer?
I know it. It's 39 degrees here in Muskegon, and high school baseball's happening, and they want me to call a game. And I'm thinking, if there was a press box, I'd be there. However, it's outside, so no, thank you, not yet.
Yeah, cold weather baseball is not only difficult for the players, but for the guys like us running the show. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So you mentioned you're starting to get back into the swing of high school baseball announcing for the public address system, but what originally got you in to talking into the microphone and being the energy giver for sports games all over the Muskegon area?
Well, I guess I don't know. I think I started calling basketball games when my son was playing basketball, but he was a three sport athlete. So I ended up doing public address for his soccer, his baseball, and his basketball. And apparently it worked out for the high school. So I've been doing it ever since for a variety of different high schools. And at one point, when the Clippers were being formulated, the Galkowskis approached me and said, "Well, we kind of like what you do at high school, and we're going to create this summer collegiate league, and we need somebody to do the public address announcing, but we'd like to add a little flair." And I remember thinking, well, high school you can't do too much because you can't be a homer, and you got to be careful what you say and treat everybody equally. But this was summer collegiate baseball, and we were serving adult beverages, and these guys had their big boy pants on. And I've always had all these ideas of what we could do to make the game exciting and really enhance the fan experience beyond just the baseball itself. And they said, "Well, that's what we want." Then I asked them, I said, "Well, how far can I go? Is there a line that I can't cross?" And they looked at me and laughed and said, "We'll let you know when you cross it." And they haven't told me I can't do anything quite yet. And so we do get a little irreverent sometimes, and we use music to our advantage. And we're always trying to engage the fans throughout the game beyond what's actually happening on the field. Although I'll tell you what, if an umpire makes a bad call, or an opposing coach walks out to the mound to talk to a pitcher, I'm likely to play a little song that might kind of get in their craw on the other team. But our fans love it, and they'll laugh and applaud and join in, and so that makes the game exciting.
So it's funny you mentioned umpires, because I was just about to ask you one of my personal favorite quotes of yours before a game starts. Obviously, you'll introduce the teams, coaches, and then umpires, and you always ask for a round of applause for the umpires, at least while we as Clipper Nation still like them. Have you ever gotten feedback from the umpires, maybe some fun play or a comment on what you're saying, or do they just let it go through one ear and out the other?
Well, most of them have been there before, and so they know what they're in for. And if I forget to say that, after the game, they'll come up to me and go, "Hey, you didn't rib us." I go, "Oh, that's doggone it. We'll get you next time." But no, not really. They know that it's not high school, and it's a different level, and that we are a little bit different, and we're trying to make it fun for everybody, and that they can be part of that fun. So I haven't had too many problems. One thing I won't do is when they make a bad call, I will not play Three Blind Mice. That's crossing the line in my book. So we don't do that.
All right, so obviously a lot of tradition within Clipper baseball, and you're a big factor behind it and setting the scene, setting the stage, and making it fan entertainment engageable. What are some of your favorite traditions that go on in the midst of a Clipper baseball game at Marsh Field on a summer night?
Well, we do have a lot of traditions we've developed. That's a really great question. I guess the one for me and the one the fans seem to like the most is our beer batter. And for the folks who are listening, the beer batter is when we will pick one of the other players from the other team and determine quietly that they're the beer batter. And when they come up to bat, we'll make some announcement saying, batting next for the Vikings is number 23, John Smith. And guess what, Clipper fans? John is our beer batter. And if he strikes out, beer is $1 off for the rest of the inning. Well, of course, the fans are applauding now. Poor John looks up at the press box and goes, "Why me?" His buddies in his own dugout are laughing. And pretty soon everybody's engaged in every pitch during that at bat. And if he strikes out, beer's $1 off. I play a little music like the Beer Barrel Polka. That's the sign to the bartenders to know, look out, here they come. And it's really fun. So that's one of the special ones. But we have so many other traditions that seem to work for us as well.
Man,
what do you like?
My personal favorite, I guess, kind of similar to the strikeout, but I'd say the Chick-fil-A K numbers. And man, Chick-fil-A was getting old by the end of the summer. I ate so much Chick-fil-A due to how talented our pitching core was. I mean, for beer batters and the Chick-fil-A promotion, Danny Gutierrez and Jack Decker delivered night in and night out, along with the rest of the 2023 Clipper staff. So, I mean, I would say, collecting that coupon for free Chicken Sammy the next day was almost routine. I could always count on eating Chick-fil-A week after week.
Yeah, now, that's always a fun one because if our pitchers get 10 strikeouts, then everybody in the whole ballpark gets a coupon for a Chick-fil-A. And so the fans are hanging on every strikeout, and we count them down. And then if we get to 10, we play a little music, chicken dance, and everybody starts chicken dance. And one more way to get the fans engaged.
So going into this 2024 season, obviously Clipper Nation has been going on for a little bit of time now, but last year from a winning standpoint, that completely elevated things. And now Muskegon Clippers baseball is a team to be reckoned with. And, the guys coming into the franchise for this upcoming season, the bar has been set high by the Muskegon community and beyond. Is there any expectations you have or new traditions that you're going to throw into this new group of kids?
Well, it's every year's a little bit different. And you're right, that bar is set really high. When your team sets a league record for number of wins and does what Muskegon Clippers did last year, it's tough. But we got a few new ideas to kind of keep the fans engaged. But you never really know because every year the team's pretty much different. And what I look for in our player meeting is who's the guy who's maybe got the fun type attitude, because we have to assign that song If You're Happy and You Know It, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And for your listeners, what we do is this song is If You're Happy and You Know It, it will become the walk-up song for one of our players. But you got to have a good attitude about it because most of these players have their own walk-up song that they want. We try to accommodate them. The fans like it, but they like If You're Happy and You Know It better. And it takes a good attitude to have that. That person, that player who gets that song as their walk-up music becomes a celebrity in town because the fans are waiting for that at every game. And so we tend to figure out who that guy would be, but also we're looking for talent outside baseball that any one of these players may have, whether they can do a Rubik's Cube in 1 minute, whether they can juggle, whether they're a good dancer. And if we find out that kind of thing, we'll include it in some of our game activities. And the fans always love it when the players get involved. So we'll see what happens this year with the new crop.
Well, one thing that could definitely be implemented is the Clipper guys practicing how to launch a flying fish. And man, I saw some notorious, ferocious tosses of that. So I'll have to pull Coach Fleener aside in the midst of batting practice and working in the field, work on sending those fish fly through the sky so the kids can have a chance to catch them.
Well, that's a great game too. The fans love that. It's a slingshot of a fish, and kids are trying to catch it in the net. But yeah, you're right. There's a special talent to shoot that big old slingshot. We'll have to coach them up.
That we will. And I mean, one final question for you, Tim, before we wrap things up today. I mean, obviously the league took a hit this offseason with some teams not coming back due to whatever reason. But I mean, nonetheless, Clipper baseball has always stood out. It's a family-run team, but I mean, what to you stands out more within the Clippers organization compared to any other team from the game atmosphere perspective?
Yeah, I've been to a few other games at other locations in our league. Those teams just don't seem to have the fan support we do. So we're really fortunate to have large crowds. We're also fortunate that we're putting a lot of thought into, certainly we're playing good baseball. I'll tell you what, that bar has been set high, but we're putting a lot of thought into how can we make this fan experience special every time. And that sets us apart, I think, from everybody else in the league.
Well, there you have it. Clipper baseball is in high demand, and hopefully that demand will come this summer, especially with the Marshfield renovations. Maybe more fans means more community engagements, and I'm sure, I shouldn't say I'm sure, I know of a lot of Clipper fans who are very much looking forward to coming back to Marshfield this summer and hearing your voice hype up the crowd in a very comedic-like fashion. But Tim, thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing you voicing the microphones and through the speakers in 72 days. So rest that voice or keep it warmed up for when it's time for Clipper baseball.
You bet. It's good to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you.
Thank you, Tim. This is Jonathan Timm signing off from this edition of Clippers Baseball. Thank you all fans for tuning in. Stay posted for more preseason videos, and we will see you next time.